You're watching the Tesla Live with your host, Mark Coughlin!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 376. Here we are on the 10th? Yeah, no, the 11th. The 11th of September 2024. Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. David Watts, first in the chat room.
That's right.
Welcome to him. But here's, without any more ado, we've got our co-host with us as per usual, Mr. Case Green, joining us from the Mid-Atlantic. How are you today, sir?
Drove all over it today. I left in a Model X, came back in a 2021 Model Y that doesn't belong to me. Model 3 that doesn't belong to me.
Do not incriminate yourself on the show. How many times have I told you?
I didn't steal it.
I'm just borrowing it, officer.
That's my key.
Oh, nice.
Exactly.
So 2021 Model 3, so the first refresh, not the Highland, and I've got thoughts. First off, still salty about not having remote century view on my car. Until Tesla tells me that there's a legitimate reason other than more money, there's no reason why my car doesn't have it. The other thing is the dual pane windows. I like that. It's not. I thought it would be quieter because the Highland, they say, is quiet, and the Cybertruck was quiet, and the new Model X is definitely quiet, but much quieter than mine. But this one, it was just about on par with mine. So I was like, how loud is Mark's car? And the other thing, I think that they addressed it in Highland, but I haven't driven in Highland yet. But the suspension was it gave a lot of feedback. Let's call it that. I liked the rear power trunk. That was cool, and the new visualizations are super nice. And I was able to use my cloud profile on it, but because my car is legacy, it doesn't make a cloud profile, so I made one there. And next time I borrow a car or buy one, it'll, hey, we know who you are, and it'll just load up in there with my seats and mirrors the way I like them. This vehicle is equipped with a super slow charger, 48 amps, so it's going to take 5 hours to charge the battery when mine would be from 0 to full in 4 hours tops, because I have the high amperage charger. This is a dual motor long range Model 3 from 2021. It's got about 41,000 miles on it. Still, this is the first loaner car I've ever had that was any kind of clean. And I always told the reps, hey, I'd rather have a car than a clean car if it meant not getting a car. But it just felt different to have a clean one. And so the FSD version on this is FSD supervised 12.5.1.5, and it was smoother. And I love the hands-free because the camera can see you. Mine can't do that, and it doesn't have the version yet for it anyway. But you can have your hands up, you can have it down, you can be playing with the dashboard. If you're looking at the screen too long, it's chastising you. If you look away too long, it's very, very dialed in. And the driving performance is, if you have 12.3.6 and up, it's about the same. Minor interventions, but not too many. And I do believe that they adjusted the acceleration, but I don't know that for sure because I'm coming from a performance car to a standard long range, so I don't know if that's the right comparison to it. We'll see when my car finally gets the software. I'll tell you for sure. But that was pretty cool. And they have a new. Some of you guys have had service since they did it, so it's not new to you. But they don't ask you your PIN number anymore if you have PIN to drive. They didn't at first. I don't know what happened in the middle. Maybe Elon threw away the server, and then they stopped asking for the PIN again. And this time, the Model 3 showed up. Making sure I don't dox myself. It showed up in my app. I had to push the button to turn on the phone key, and it just worked. It was awesome. So they are doing a lot in service. Just not always fast enough.
They do need to improve in service.
They
so
do.
That's good. That's
place
good.
to place.
Seeing a couple incremental changes is good to see.
Exactly. So what's happening with my car is on the older S's and X's with the large rear drive unit, they have a tendency to take on coolant. And so my car had a low coolant message twice, and when they pulled the speed sensor, it did a puppy piddle on the tech, and he said, "Yep," closed it back up, and so it right now, not just Tesla, but everybody in the industry has these long waits for service. So at the shop that did my door sensors, changed them to ones that don't get hot because it's a black car, they would have been able to see us after Thanksgiving. So they said, "Hey, you're not too far. You're kind of in the middle of these shops for where you're at the moment." And so they tried the two shops in Charlotte. The one that we picked up the car from and normally does our service if we don't go to Georgia, they would have been able to see us after, like Halloween or after. And then this new shop in Charlotte is beautiful. It's done well. They were able to see us today, so they were for 9/11, and I'll let you know how it goes. But so this is only the large induction rear drive unit. So if you have a Model S rear wheel drive, so only one motor, and it's the big one, or if you have a performance S or X, where it's got the big one in the back and the small one in the front. It's just an issue with the way that they design the seals to keep the coolant from filling the air cavity in the motor. They got some oil in there, but what happens is after time, you've got a water-based coolant basically, and it's dielectric, so it won't. It's not supposed to be conductive, but you keep running hundreds of kilowatts through it at a time. And eventually what happens is your either your stator or the housing just starts to corrode, and you could be out anywhere from, if you can find a used one, anywhere from like $5,000 to $15,000. And so,
oh, ouch.
Yeah. So the good thing about these older cars, except for the very oldest ones, is you have a 8-year unlimited mile warranty for the long, what would be the long range today, the 85, the 90, the 100. And the P series. If you had the mid-range, hopefully you can work something out with a service advisor, or you're still under your, because you didn't have unlimited mile warranty on the middle one. So if you're still under that, but get it checked out. I'm making a video on it, and I'll speak with a mobile tech, and we'll go into more on that, and I'll share it.
Okay.
After they give me my car back.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Off on these 3 things, we're not giving your car back. See you soon.
Also, hello to Derek Lee Moon, Merlin, and Digital Blade have joined us in the chat room with hello. And also with us, as per usual, Mr. Patrick Connor from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. Hello, Tesla Nation. So first, I have to acknowledge September 11th. Condolences to all the people that were impacted by that day. And there are still people suffering from cancer and related health issues from that event. Let's hope that we can come to a day where we have some peace. Moving oil from a strategic commodity to just another non-contentious resource like salt is a great way to do that, to get a future free from fossil fuels.
Boom, early.
And we used to have wars for salt, and that's no longer the case. So I hope the same thing can happen for fossil fuels soon. Moving on to another topic. Last week on the show, Mark, you asked if there were any more VPP events scheduled in my area.
Yep.
And right on cue, right after the show, I got a text saying, we have a VPP event happening tomorrow. And then they had one the day after that, too. So we've had 2 of them in the last week.
How many you want for next week, Patrick? I'll just order them up.
Well, I don't think we're going to get any more because it went from hot days to now we don't have anything in the forecast over 80, which I think is about 27C coming up. So my little corner over here, fall has happened. I know it's not the equinox yet, but weather-wise, we're there. And we had some rain last night. I hope that helped put out some of the forest fires that have been going on. So there you go. Get ready for pumpkin spice season.
There you go. I'm sure it's on tap.
Great. I'm not
almost.
It's the season. Man. Whether or not you like the spice is another thing. Yeah. You can't argue that it is still the season.
It's there.
Yeah.
But it's actually my number 1.
Oh, exactly. Well, let's start with the main story today, and that, of course, is some updates from the drone army that's flying over all Tesla facilities. TeslaSemi has seemed to their current plant, not the new one, seems to be kicking it up a stride or two, and they seem to be pumping out a number of units. I've got a picture that we can share with the group. Here we go. And here we are seeing the back lot of that particular production facility, and they're stacking up the semis. Got a group here of about 20 or 24. But what I wanted to draw your attention to was the weird trailer chassis that are behind the trucks. And these are not your normal run-of-the-mill trailers.
Those the intermodal, like you drop a container on it?
They could possibly be a container trailer, yes. But I just thought they were kind of weird that they were at this location. I don't think I've seen containers in previous photos. Like you can see van trailers all over the place.
Two other things they could be megapack bases, or maybe they're going to do a rocket drag with one of the semis. Not like a race, but like just drag a rocket through wherever they take Falcon 9.
But would you think that this would be in Nevada?
It shouldn't be.
No.
Megapack, yes. Megapack, yes, and the container intermodal base, yes, but nothing for the
not the rocket, but yeah, so that was kind of interesting. But more interesting is that they've got a lot more production sitting out in their back lot. So it looks like the inside group is pushing out the semis, and hopefully these are sales ready units that can be delivered to some of those many trucking companies that are waiting to add some electric units to their fleets. But also in the parking lot, and this could be these orange trailers, these orange vans, those are Schneider National. And that is a huge transportation company based in the US. This also could be just parts deliveries coming in to help build the trucks, not necessarily that Schneider's has anything to do with buying the trucks. But
looks like what it is. Yeah.
Also in the video that was flying around here, and it's linked if you want to go see it, didn't see any evidence of any vehicles that were anything but white. There was no indication that they have been assigned to anybody, and that's typical. I don't think Tesla is wrapping any of these units. They probably go to the companies themselves, and they're the ones that initiate the wraps. So
yeah,
the last time we saw them wrap one was like shortly after Pepsi got their first batch, as if they just weren't ready yet for the party. Yeah, because after that, even Pepsi's trucks have been white, not just Tesla's and not just Walmart's, but everybody's had white trucks. Some of them had like the logo at the top or the words on the side, but I guess they all had the words on the side, but you might not always get close enough to read them. Yeah. Hopefully this people might think it's weird to practice ramping the truck in a building you're about to vacate, but they're not moving far. It's like you're moving from one side of an apartment complex to another. It's a pain in the butt, but it's not all that far, and so they might as well continue to have lessons learned, get folks out with it. We don't even know if this is the Mark 1 or the Mark 2. If it's the Mark 1, get some more test miles on them. If it's the Mark 2, get them ready to go to their customers, and this is good to see.
Yeah, Mark, so this has got me thinking, if you've got the ability to drop a mega pack on the back of that, it would be really cool if you could have a business where you could power events. So a lot of events that are remote have to run generators. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you roll up with your Tesla Semi with a mega pack on the back. You can power the whole thing. You might even throw, while you're parked there, some solar panels up on the roof of it and collect a few rays.
Yeah.
That would be
fold out from the sides.
Yeah, this would be a cool business to power on the go.
Absolutely. We've seen some of those tiny homes and how they fold into a container.
Like that,
You can do the exact same thing with a solar array to roll it out as, big and wide with reinforcements that are attached to that heavy container. It make a lot of sense to do it that way.
That'd be neat.
Absolutely. Another semi story as well is that some of the execs got together talking on Twitter and released this photo of 3 semis, each pulling a step deck trailer. This one looks like it's loaded with rocks or weight.
And it's got the lowboy fairing on it too.
Yeah. So it's got, this is at the actual construction site. And of course, behind them is the frame of the new semi factory that's being built. So that's they've got some work. Just a little while ago, it was just pilings. So they've got the major footprint of the building done, and you can see a lot of the roof trestle is in place and ready to go. So yeah, they're chomping at the bit here to get this plant going. And as we've seen with some of their other plants, hopefully they can hit the timelines and start pushing these things out.
Yeah, it was last week that they had the first cross beam across the top.
Yep.
And now it's like done, ready for the next step. Cool.
It's so cool that you have Tesla semis helping to build the Tesla semi factory.
Awesome.
We talk about closed loop systems.
Exactly.
Oh, this is fun.
So very cool to see the progress there as they start to move these things out. Here's another thing. Our good friend Brian White from the Futuraza channel happened to be in Vancouver, Canada recently. He was attending the electric show hosted by Robert Llewellyn and company. And he happened to spy a Rivian R3 was on display. And he happened to reach across the aisle there and see what was under the charge cover. And we've got this picture that they shared to show that the R3 has a NACS plug installed.
Oh, interesting.
Now, of course, for our little side bet that we made on Twitter a while ago with a poll, we said the first available for sale. So obviously the R3 is not available for sale, but it is good to see that the NACS plug has started to make some integration pathways into other manufacturers.
And if you voted for Rivian, you have a chance of winning.
That's right.
The R3 won't take the prize, but the R2, and there's a chance the R1 could do it, the R1 update, but it's not looking good for them just because the R2 is still a little ways off, and the R1 update, they'd have to do another changeover. However, Hyundai has announced that theirs is ready, and they've shown pictures. They've got a charge port as well. It's basically they just took the CCS, put a nice big blanker in there, and then there's the inlet for J3400, NACS, the Tesla plug.
So we've got a couple of contenders that are getting close to selling these vehicles. We'll have to see which one hits the market first.
Like I said, it could be or should be Ford or GM, but my money was on Hyundai, and then Hyundai goes and announces. They've even got like a new model with like off-road ruggedness, and then they've got another one that's got longer range, and it's on the wrong side of the car, but there it is. The R2 is putting it on the correct side of the car, and the Lucid Gravity came out with theirs. Theirs is also going to be on the correct side of the car.
That's what JT just said. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's a few of them that are in the running, and we're getting closer. So it is coming. Speaking of charge ports, Patrick's got our next story, which is about a charge port company and their run with Tesla.
That's right. So EVject is a company that makes an adapter that allows you to drive off while you're supercharging if you're in some dangerous situation. It's made to break away without damaging your car or the supercharger stall, and without requiring you to get out of the car if you're in a dangerous situation. So it's not something that you would use on the regular, I hope. If so, you need to charge somewhere else. But so Tesla was concerned, and they filed a lawsuit because this did not have a thermal monitor in it. And because the supercharging is high voltage, high current, it can get hot. And Tesla has temperature sensors that are in the handle, in the connector. But if you have this thing in between, then they don't have direct information about how hot the port is getting. And so at first I was thinking, well, they have no case because they should just enter a complaint with some consumer advocacy because, yes, it works with Tesla vehicles, but it's a third-party product. It's not using Tesla's name. But the lawsuit from Tesla claimed false advertising, trademark dilution, and unlawful practice.
Yeah.
Well,
they wouldn't let me there.
Yeah, I don't know if Tesla had tried cease and desist or other things or just approaching them before this. So I don't know what the backstory is there. But the good news about this story is that now they have, I guess, worked with Tesla to address these concerns. They are recalling version 1 and 1.1 of all of their connectors that are out there. They are going to replace those with version 1.2, which meets Tesla's requirements and has the expected thermal detection in there. So it looks like it all turned out well in the end. And if you are someone that this would give you peace of mind while you're charging, I'm glad it's available to you. It's too bad that Tesla had to go the route of suing them to get this to happen. I don't know if, like I said, maybe they could have taken a more friendly approach, but we got to the right result. So that was what I wanted to share.
There you go.
Yeah, and it was interesting that the president of EVject performed a little demonstration after one of the people on social media said, well, if a car blocks you into the supercharger stall, you're stuck. It doesn't matter if your car breaks off from the supercharger or not. And he performed a test with his daughter's car blocking his Tesla in a stall, and they used a big
mattress
of some sort to put on the side of the car, and he maneuvered the car, pushing on the mattress, which was against the other car, and actually pushed it out of the way. So the incredible torque of a Tesla would allow you to leave an unsafe situation, even if you were T-boned blocked in. That is the case. So
yeah, Teslas have a lot of power. So it would take a big vehicle to stop you if it was a real life or death situation and you needed to get away. You can push some stuff pretty hard with the Tesla.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that was kind of cool that was demonstrated. So yeah, glad that Tesla and EVject came to a solution over the lawsuit.
Yep.
And a lot of the folks that just kind of like whenever Elon or the company does something, they all of a sudden just rally around, like as if it was always gospel. Tesla told us that the putting water on the handle doesn't change the speed. It does, but it also messes with their metrics and then makes them think that the handle is more healthy than it is. Didn't take that many extra words to explain that concept. And then so when they sued EVject, it's the same sort of dog pile. And
yeah, don't be a toxic lemming. Come on.
A supercharger. I have a pair of videos about the Burlington supercharger where a mom and daughter, they were assaulted at the supercharger, and thankfully they made it out with their lives. But and they caught the guy. But it's not common, but it is something that does occur, and it is good peace of mind, and especially now that they are working together. I'm not pitching it. If you want it, it's there. Go look it up. But for the folks that say this is unnecessary all the time,
yeah, well, there's a lot of things. I mean, like I have a CHAdeMO adapter. Why? Because it gives me peace of mind. Have I used it? I used it once intentionally to test it, and now it just sits in my frunk. And so
I regularly until the supercharger showed up in my town.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So I mean, you had a real reason to have it. I didn't. I could have saved the money,
A lot of money.
but it gave me peace of mind. So if
Yeah.
you want to buy an EVject and never use it, it's kind of like an insurance policy, right? You hope you never make it a claim because that means something bad happened. So if you want to use this to supercharge and it makes you feel more comfortable, more power to you.
We can hang it on our walls.
It won't do much good. It'll be like, oh, hey, Mark, what happened? Some of your covers are gone.
Yeah, I got a great offer, so I had to move them.
Wait, you got a great offer like
Mark's Cover Emporium.
Exactly. So next, got a great story coming to us from Las Vegas, and yeah, I think we've got a little video that we can share on this as well. Here we go.
It's about Gary the Snail.
That's not a freight train you're hearing. Boom!
Wow.
Train.
So there she is cutting. Prufrock-3, cutting through the dirt on a brand new tunnel segment at the Las Vegas Loop. And they have been working this particular unit ever since it left Giga, Texas a number of weeks ago. I guess they took the unit over to Las Vegas to help build a tunnel segment on that particular system. And it wasn't an extremely long segment, but again, it's just impressive that this thing is able to dig itself underground on its own power and then follow the route. And in this case, they've got a underground station that will be placed here at some point in the future, but it's popping out in that excavation at the level that's been carved into the earth for that underground station. So again, lots of things going on in Las Vegas. We don't get a lot of information about it, but like to show that there's progress still going on. The last update I believe we got was that it was heading down towards the airport, a really long version of the tunnel, which was a couple of kilometers, a mile and a half or so long, out from the convention center. And it was popping up at an intersection that was a few blocks from the airport. So this is just more. It's happening, and it continues to happen.
Yeah.
And no, Lee Moon, this is happening in Vegas, but it isn't staying in Vegas. We're letting people know.
What happens underground in Vegas gets talked about on this show.
There you go. I'm surprised at the number of people who are still insisting that nothing is happening with Boring and that it's failed and blah blah blah. I mean, yeah, there were a couple cities that were in talks, but elections happened and then they weren't in talks anymore. And then do you want to be a first gen in a city where it's having difficulty getting approved in the first place? Do you want to have a first gen Musk product, or do you want to have the third one after it's been ironed out? And so I don't think that
there's advantages to both. Yeah,
there are advantages to both. Like one can help shape it, and two, you might have some sort of advantages by being first.
Just like any other Tesla product, there will be
what you want.
There'll be stuff that will make sense, and there'll be stuff that needs improvement, and that's just the way it happens with the first model.
Oh yeah, you just mentioned one, like the ability for it to self-tap and start going. It used to be they had to dig a big pit and drop it in, and only then could it get started. Well, that takes time, that costs money, that needs equipment. Well, okay, let's just make it so that it can become a self-tapping screw, and away you go.
Exactly.
I don't think I've ever heard it before. Like the other time lapses and stuff I watched, they didn't have sound, so that was really they had such a rumble.
Well, you got to think you've got these diamond bit blades that are rubbing against hard earth and rock. It's going to make a weird scraping noise, metallic, almost chalkboard, nails on a chalkboard.
It was a little different than that. It didn't make my teeth hurt, but yeah, it was definitely cool.
It was a million times, yeah. But very cool. It'd be cool to see it in person.
Yeah,
and pop out somewhere.
That'd be fun. I'd also like to ride. soon.
Right.
Another use for the EVject, other than its intended use, is the CCS adapter for Cybertruck doesn't exist yet. Not as something you can buy. So if you want to use the existing CCS adapter on the truck without tearing it apart like Kyle had to do, you can use that to get the extra length that you need to clear the fender. I don't know if it'll help you if you have the unplugged performance fenders, but if you have the stock fenders, it will work.
Interesting.
Okay. And you can get up to 350 kilowatts.
Speaking of changes, Tesla's releasing a new version, 2024.22.3, and this particular feature update is going to give us some child safety features, as well as a hands-free frunk opening. So we've had the hands-free trunk opening. Now they're also going to allow it to open the frunk. And how this basically works, I've never seen it work yet. I've just read the description. But you have your phone key in an unobstructed area, typically in front of you, I guess. I guess if it's in your back pocket, that may be considered obstructed by your body.
Yeah, the signal will be attenuated too much or something, probably.
So then you turn yourself away from your vehicle.
That's right. Yeah, you can do that. But apparently, if your phone is unobstructed, you get close enough to the car, it'll make some chime noises after a few seconds, and that's indicating that the release mechanism is about to release the trunk or the frunk and pop it at that point. Exactly. So I would be curious to see in a video how long it actually takes. If you look like some dummy standing there filled with your arms with groceries, waiting for the trunk to make the chime noise and not, it'll be interesting to see how quickly it works. There's Lee chiming in. He's letting us know that he uses the hands-free trunk from time to time, and he feels it works great. So good information. How long, Lee, does it take for it to engage once you're close to it? Like, is it 2 seconds? Couple seconds. There he goes. So
yeah. So it wasn't clear to me which vehicles support this. I thought it was only the S and X and the new Highland Model 3.
I thought it was all Model 3s and Ys, or at least the ones with power trunk and Cybertruck.
Because you had to have ultra wideband support for this to work.
Okay. So then it would be there was a chart on the one that I saw. So you got Cybertruck, Palladium with a certain update, and definitely Highland. But I thought they said Model Y as well. Where did he?
Yeah. So Lee, I think you have a Model Y, right? A 2024 Model Y.
I think he's just switched to a Model 3.
Oh, okay. Ultra wideband, equipped vehicles, Cybertruck, refreshed S, X, and 3. Okay, so Lee's must be in a new 3.
Yep.
Okay, that's why he has it. I don't.
That's what we keep saying. Stuff happens, but Patrick wanted stocks.
Right.
If he waited too long, he wouldn't have stocks.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd make that trade anytime.
That was another thing about this one. The mushy stock you guys have is operates a lot differently than the classic old school plastic. It ratchets in place. So I was putting it the middle position, and it was blinking, but then not making any moves. So people were getting annoyed at me. And that's how I realized I got to make it go all the way because it cancels itself. It doesn't have to ratchet back around to do anything.
Another part of the update is the child safety, and that, of course, is being linked to the child seat to alert an owner that if they are egressing the vehicle, if there's a child moving or shifting its weight, the car can pick up that sensitivity of the child's movement and alert the driver on the screen with an audible beep as well that there is a child in the vehicle.
So the model they used in the render in the article, I guess Green gave it to him. That was a car seat that we looked at for Moto a couple of years ago, and it's got a Bluetooth chip in it, and it's got the smart stuff. So I'm wondering if they just interface directly with either the app or the Bluetooth, and just replace having all these different apps with hey, something about the car. oh shoot, I forgot to get the kid out, and then you go back and get the kid.
Yeah, it definitely could be like an addition to it. So it could be just taking the signal that typically would be sent to a phone or to the cell network and then to a phone. But I'm hoping that they're integrating it with the actual car's central screen as well.
I think they might, because aside from that it was an expensive car seat, we were gifted an acceptable one before we ended up having to make that purchase. So we never did get to try it out. And but that was one of the things that they were touting on the box and on their sales page. It's like, it's got Bluetooth and it's safety and not just crash safety, but like lifts in the car stuff. So that's why it stood out. I was like, it's very familiar.
It's not clear to me when they say it's a smart car seat feature. Does that mean it's a smart feature that works with car seats, or is it a feature for smart car seats? And you have to have a certain type of car seat.
Right.
So
I would have thought the same, and did until I saw the image. That's when I said, "Oh, I know that thing."
Yeah, this is great. Whether or not that just like everything Tesla does, it's going to get better over time. But this is, if you leave a child in a car and they die, that is a horrible tragedy. And anything that they can do to alleviate that, Tesla has long had the overheat protection. And
that's where that came from, actually. Somebody said, Elon at one of the shareholder meetings, a story about how their friend's child had perished, and if you saw the Australian food or air conditioning, and Elon started tearing up and choking up, it was very similar to that. And then the next week we had cabin overheat protection, like fleet-wide. It's delivered over cellular because it wasn't that odd to get cellular updates that time, but that one, even if you had Wi-Fi, it pushed over cellular. That was
right. And controls wise, they already have temperature sensors in the vehicle, tells you how hot it is in there, and they already have the ability to turn on the AC. So it wasn't a whole lot of code for them to have this overheat protection. And so yeah, anything, if this is just another step along that line to helping make sure that parents don't lose a child to something that's avoidable, this is awesome. And this is exactly the kind of stuff that other car companies should be copying. The cabin, every car with a large battery should have cabin overheat protection last week. And this kind of stuff, if Tesla's using the selfie cam or the weight sensor or some Bluetooth smarts, whatever they're using.
Combination.
Yeah, all the above, or something else that we haven't thought of. That should every car maker should be copying this.
Apparently, about 24 children die of this per year in North America. So
they should do like Volvo with the cross strap, the safety strap. They should all just be sharing these things.
It should be open source, free to any and all car makers to use it. I didn't know it was that many, Mark. I would have assumed it was like one a year, or one every other year. But 24 years.
I know it was that high, but no, it's more than that. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yep. Well, next, I'm going to talk a little bit more story about Berlin again and the news. We talked just a couple of weeks ago about the new electric train that was moving employees back and forth from their job or their shifts. Tesla has now hired a coach business, bus business, to perform a dedicated run to help employees.
Every time he talks about Tesla, Berlin, or Toyota, he ends up.
Yeah, the Grunheim gang gotcha.
I'm gone. So I was just talking about the new bus route that Tesla has hired for, and it's on a set route from downtown Berlin into the factory, and they have now put this in action. What I hope doesn't happen is that people start complaining that the buses aren't electric.
Like, it's already doing that.
I understand that you'd like them to be electric, but just like the train, we're talking about mass transportation. We're talking about putting hundreds of people on a transportation device that when you break that out amongst all the people compared to them driving individual cars, it's a huge savings in CO2. Okay. Yes, we would like ideally to have an electric bus, and maybe that will happen in the future. But for right now, let's just let's just celebrate that we've got another low emission solution to move people in and out of their shifts at the factory.
Yeah, I was going to ask if because it said they contracted. So I was going to say, did they require the contractor to have electric buses? Because they're more common in Europe than they are here, because Europe hasn't done the stupid long routes thing that we have because our cities are sprawling. And so you can buy the cheaper electric buses, because the ones here, they set you back about $3 million a pop. And that's because they have like 700 kilowatt hour batteries, and they don't have Tesla efficiencies as far as how to make and purchase those, and then they still build it like the regular bus, and so they're expensive.
Yeah.
And I would like to see some of those over there, but yeah, I understand reasons why they might not, but also they're cheaper over there, and they don't have to go as far. And put 3 of them in there.
Right, but you don't want to make the perfect the enemy of the good.
This
is a good solution, and again, there's room for improvement, and that's fine. But the train,
and now it's not.
Exactly. Yeah, I have to say this, Mark. So you totally got me. Mark sends out this list of the stories ahead of time, and in the image for this story, somebody took a Tesla Semi, and this is probably just AI generated, and made it into a coach bus, and it looks awesome. And I'm like, oh, really? This is what they have. And then when that was nowhere near anywhere in the story, it had nothing to do with it. I got all excited.
I wanted to share the image, but I thought it would be misleading, so I didn't bother.
Yeah, totally faked me out.
I did too think that the image was awesome looking, but it's just an image. It isn't real. So
right. It will be nice to get there someday, though.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, I didn't catch this part of the conversation. They've got the next story with me, so I was looking through to make sure I was good on it. And go ahead, Mark.
Well, you've already introduced yourself, Casey, so go right ahead. You've got the next story.
Down here has a story about how Tesla is working on pull-through superchargers. And,
if you have a Tesla bus and you need somewhere to charge it, you know what you need, Casey? Tell us.
Pull-through supercharger. Was being asked Tesla questions on X, and he said that yes, we're working on pull-through superchargers. I think Elon even acknowledged that as well. And then he asked what else or where else could superchargers be? And I said all of I-26 because it's a desert. And then so this part of the conversation I missed because it happened either when I wasn't paying attention or while yesterday's events were just making everything fly. But Wes confirmed it again and said that they are looking for opportunities to install these at new locations and will show trailer-friendly stalls on the in-vehicle UI to make it easier when road tripping with a trailer. And then Mr. Awashti pointed out that this is already in the work, showing on the UI, including showing these on the UI. Wes mentioned these a while back, just in case folks missed it before. This will happen on the 8th, and that is exciting because as somebody who tows with a Tesla and supercharges, well, if you tow with a Tesla any distance outside of your region or local town, you will be supercharging. And I told you the story about the lady who zoomed in and displaced that family who had the Model Y because we already were using the other trailer spot with our gigantic trailer. And so the Model Y had a choice of either unload or wait for her to finish because she didn't want to reverse into the spot. And there were 18 other spots. And I felt angry for them. Because they had like a bike rack and I don't know, like maybe like a box or something. And the regular cables would not have reached unless they used the towing stalls.
I think with this story, with them starting to put extra pull-through spots at existing superchargers is fantastic. But what I think is really interesting, which I think will come, and this is kind of your idea, Casey, is that allowing Tesla to understand whether or not you've plugged in something to the dongle for the trailer lights. Yeah. That would then tell the car you're towing a trailer.
Right.
And it
Or at
could
least have a hitch box there. Yeah.
Yep. And it can automatically recommend the trailer friendly compared to if there's nothing plugged into the dongle, it can assume that you're not pulling a trailer, and it would not.
And then,
it would just give you the full range of selections.
And then it could also, because one of the more recent updates would say, oh, there's this many people en route to this charger. They can say, hey, there are this many people en route, 3 of them with trailers, so don't park in the nose end spot, lazy.
Right.
What about warning people on their screen? You are parked in a trailer spot.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. That's a great idea.
And not only the trailer spot, but this is a V2, so you really should be move over to 3B. It's the only one not sharing right now.
Yeah. But, again, that's iteration, getting better as time goes along and identifying issues or problems that can be solved with a tweak to the software or an update or something along that line. And that's one thing that Tesla is fantastic at. We hope that some of these changes come for the trailer towing public, because Casey really needs that to be, because he is the trailer king when it comes to Model X. It's a title that he holds near and dear to his heart.
Yeah, they could even do stuff like in the pull-through spots, double the idle fees, and that would encourage people to move along or to not. And that would also discourage them from using that one in the first place. If they're going to go to the restaurant or whatever while they charge, then maybe they pick another one so that they don't get hit with the double fees.
And it can be smart enough to know that if there's only one other charger available, maybe the double fees aren't involved at that point, because you've got a full supercharger. They're pulling into a stop that may be the only one available. Again, Tesla's got the data. They know what's going on. They could just alert the person when the case is that there are lots of available spots.
What you could do them in, like, you could put the regular ones in one block or tier or whatever, and then put the trailer friendly ones in another. So unless all the others are, whatever percentage of the others are full, if somebody plugs into the trailer, hit them with the double, not just the idle fee, but the new one that they switched to for if you're just the high use supercharger over 80% or something like that, where it's just like,
charge more per kilowatt hour.
The station. Some of them are still idle fee, but others have now switched to just making it more expensive because it's busy.
Oh,
trying to encourage you to move along.
Yeah, interesting.
I remember going through Oklahoma and having to supercharge there at a casino, and all of their chargers were pull-throughs, and that was the first one I've ever seen that was strictly pull-throughs. So that was kind of interesting. And there's a lot of interesting supercharger setups out there now. There are multiple different ones to get used to, and I guess we've got to give the Tesla owners a little time to understand which one's which, and maybe sending out a video to people in their Tesla app, or alerting them once a month or something with a tip that Tesla's trying to educate. That would be a good thing to do as well, to send out to everybody, to let them know that, hey, these new type of superchargers are here. This is how you use them. Kind of like, the DOT sometimes sends out updates to drivers about maybe a traffic circle in their area or something along that line.
Right.
Yeah. The ones I like the least are the reverse in angles, and then followed up by the nose in angles, just because.
You don't like angles, huh? Casey's got something against angles.
Well, when you drive the widest Tesla, then until the Cybertruck, yeah, I do. Yeah, because the angles are.
I can see that, because they seem to be a little bit closer together than the others for whatever reason, even though they're not. It's just that the angle gives you another point of having to navigate a little bit more carefully.
And the Model X is not a Cybertruck as far as being nimble. In reverse, it's terrible in reverse. So it requires extra care and Austin Powers like maneuvering because it just doesn't turn in reverse.
38-point turn, exactly.
But if you've ever wondered why your Model S or Model 3 is is doing that for no reason. It's probably because it's universal to the Model X and it has to fit.
Mm.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. Let's go with some shout-outs. Casey, what do you got for us?
Well, on Friday, come catch us on the Tesla Life Express for the first one for the week. And then on Sunday, catch me over at youtube.com/Casey Green for Let's Chat with Casey and Friends. And then on Monday, we've got another Tesla Life Express. And back on Wednesday, we'll be here. Somebody had a question and wanted to answer it. If I can find it. Go ahead, Patrick, and I will look. Oh, wait. They were asking if everyone registered their shares for the lottery for 1010. I'm with one of the big five in Canada, but can't automatically link. Hopefully they'll manually verify you.
Okay, so what is this lottery? Yeah, give us some context.
The lottery is to go see the launch of the Robotaxi, and I personally I haven't applied for it because I didn't want to invoke an expense to get to California and.
It's in Los Angeles, right? It's at Warner Brothers Studios.
Exactly. And if I leave my girls, they'd be upset. Why did you take me to California? But it would be fun.
But yeah, if you're a Tesla fan and you're a shareholder, you might as well take a chance and
get registered.
Go. Yeah.
Somebody's got to win.
Exactly.
And then you can enter at ir.tesla.com. So just give your information there so they can verify you, and then that's the amount of entries you get. And you don't have to be a mega shareholder. One or two of the previous ones were like somebody who had like 20 shares or 5 shares. It was really well random, so don't feel discouraged. Yeah.
Patrick, any shout-outs from you today?
Yes, as always, I am with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net about my future free from fossil fuels. Thank you.
Yes, Derek, it's coming to your backyard in Los Angeles at Warner Brothers Studios, so be ready. 1010 event.
Yes. We should live stream it.
Exactly. Well, we thank everyone for viewing today and being with us and being in the chat room. Digital Blade, Derek Lee Moon. Who else we had in there? Hockey Day joined us. JT24. And Derek, of course, again in there. We thank you so much for being with us. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video. Really helps us out. Doesn't cost you anything. And Merlin, another one that was in the chat room. But we thank you all for being there. And we will catch you next time and find out what's happening in the Tesla life.
Stay positive. Test negative.
That's right. My play button has turned into a bunch of squares.
Oh, man, we got to sing the outro music again.